Zoning Commission to order. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
Okay, I'm going to appoint Rob Anderson to take Frank's place tonight. And also, and Terrence Walter, you can take Terrence's place, okay?
Mr. Chairman, fire evacuation, please.
Oh, yeah. Fire evacuation. One door is out the back. Get as far away from the building as you can. The other one is down the hall, out the back door. Get as far away from the building as you can. As an alternate, you can go farther down the hall and out the front door, too. Okay. So approval of minutes for January 22nd.
Roll call.
Oh, sorry, roll call.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Kenneth Helinski,
Here.
Christian D'Antonio.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
John Petronella is here. Terrence Lynch is absent. Frank Alimo, absent. Joseph Muley.
Here.
Walter Crizel.
Here.
Rob Anderson.
Here.
And Laura Anderson is absent.
Okay. Next order of business is the approval of minutes for January 22nd. Can I have a motion
I'm
to
sorry,
approve?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify
Oh,
who
yeah, go
you
ahead.
seated for whom.
What?
You seated Rob for Terrence or for
No,
Frank?
Rob for Frank
For Frank.
and
Rob
and
for
Walter
Frank.
for Terrence.
Frank Alimo, okay.
And who for Terrence?
And Walter.
Walter.
Grisell
Oh, Walter,
for
okay.
Terrence. Okay, thank you, sorry about that.
That's fine. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of January 22nd. Does anybody have any changes or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, show of hands. Aye, all in
Aye.
favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, town attorney report, January 27, 2026. Do we have a town attorney report? Okay, guess we don't have one. Okay, next one is the zoning enforcement officers report. This is the vote from the joint executive session held on February 3rd at 6 p.m. This item is a vote to authorize the settlement of the following enforcement case consistent with the proposed settlement presented to the commission. Docket number LND-HHD-CV 19-61-18652-S. Planning and Zoning Commission of the Town of Enfield, and Ricardo Rochelle versus Joseph LaCory and LaCory Sand and Gravel LLC. The matter is approval of a proposed settlement. The settlement requires the defendant to pay a $50,000 fine for past violations, provides a reasonable schedule for compliance with the terms of the approved permits. It corrects the existing violations and provides penalties if the defendant fails to comply. Also, a little more detail, he will be removing imported fill, stumps, waste, and any other materials from site. Provide monthly progress reports to the zoning enforcement officer quantifying volume of fill, stumps, waste, and/or any other materials removed from the site. Remove stockpile stumps or grind on site after obtaining any necessary approvals. Rough grade site for agricultural field, screen on-site topsoil for on-site reclamation use, process leaf mulch for agricultural field, and spread topsoil and leaf mulch for agricultural field. Are there any comments from the public? Are there any comments from the public? Are there any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none. What? You want to talk? Okay. Oh, Rick. Oh, yeah, Rick, you want to give us a little summary?
This was a situation that started in 2019 regarding 117 North Street. Had to do with a construction company operation. It was LaQuarrie Sand and Gravel. that purchased 117 and subsequently the abutting property to the east. Quite a bit of material, bricks, cement, construction type of materials from demolitions were brought onto the property along with stumps. Those items amounted to a very large pile of materials that were being stored on the property. As such, we had violations regarding inland wetlands and zoning because of the activity. And cease and desist orders, a number of them were issued, along with the citation for the property and the violations. The violations were appealed to the court in 2022, I believe. Town attorney handled the initial case, and subsequently it was turned over to an outside firm to act on behalf of the town. And the agreement or stipulated agreement that you have before you and that you've read the notes on pertains to the agreement between the property owner and the town of Enfield.
Okay. Is there anyone like to make any comments from the commission? Okay, can we have a motion to approve the settlement?
I don't have a motion here, do I?
There wasn't any sent out. Just motion to approve is
Okay,
fine.
yeah. And Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement between the Town of Enfield and Joseph LaCorey concerning Joseph C. LaCorey and LaCorey Sand and Gravel at the property at North Street.
Second? Okay, we probably should do roll call on this.
Yes.
Please.
Ken Helinski,
4?
Christian D'Antonio,
4.
Linda DeGray,
4.
Joseph Muley,
4.
Walter Crizel,
4.
Rob Anderson,
4.
and John Petronella is 4.
Okay,
7 zip.
motion passed unanimously.
That's 7.
Okay, next item is public participation. Public is welcome to come up and make comments to the commission at this time, as long as the particular subject is not on tonight's agenda. So does anybody want to come up and make any comments? Second time, any comments? Third time, any comments? Okay, I guess there aren't any. Okay, bond releases, we have PH 3076, 9 Hazard Avenue, Hydra East.
Serious? You want to do it? You want me to do it?
So this bond release was, or these bond releases pertain to 9 Hazard Avenue for a project that was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The additional bond, $25,000, was due to an issue with the business seeking a license from the state of Connecticut. And if they didn't obtain the license by a certain date, they were going to forfeit their licensing with the state of Connecticut. As such, we inspected the property. There were a number of items that weren't completed. Drainage was one of the major ones, along with the grease trap that wasn't removed from the property. An engineering report was subsequently submitted, and we took an additional $25,000 bond. The other two bonds, the erosion sediment control and the landscape bond, were the bonds as required under the actual special permit approval for the site. Since that time, everything's been completed. We finally got a final as-built, and all the improvements have been completed.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions about this bond release?
I don't, excuse me, Mr. Chair, I don't have the, anything on this in my packet. Do you?
It's in the,
It was online,
The portal.
John.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Portal.
still hooking up the Wi-Fi over
yeah,
here.
okay. It's in the portal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I got to hear Rick, so, okay. Well, with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission hereby approves the release of the performance bond in the amount of $25,000, the erosion and sedimentation control bond in the amount of $3,650, and the landscape bond in the amount of $3,018 to Hydra East LLC, DBA Octane Cannabis, Amen Kaher, applicant for the required site improvements to 9 Hazard Avenue as required under PH number 3076.
Second.
Okay. Are there any discussions? Anybody have any discussions on this particular item? Okay. Can we have roll call, please?
Thank you. Ken Helinski,
4.
Christian D'Antonio,
4.
Linda DeGray,
Or,
Joseph Muley,
Four.
Walter Krizel,
4.
Rob Anderson,
4.
and John Petronella is 4.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the 5 Harris Street applicant. This is the person who was trying to wanted to remodel a house on Harris Street, Mr. Cabrera, and he has sent us a signed stamped withdrawal request, thanking us for our time and asking if, when he reapplies, once the all documentation is completed, that perhaps we might want to waive the application fee. I don't think we have to decide that now, but it's a very nice letter. I think we don't really have to do anything with this then. He's withdrawn?
So you do need to accept accept the withdrawal with or without prejudice.
Okay,
And I would suggest without. I have to tell you, he came in today with perfectly folded plans. And I was like, oh, you've already sent us this withdrawal letter. Of course,
Yeah.
he doesn't speak English.
yeah, I know.
So luckily, one of the building assistants speaks Spanish, so she was able to help me interpret and explain to him what happened, and that, this withdrawal letter, the withdrawal request, is he could take that and take all the documents that he has today that he wanted to submit and resubmit. But if you make the decision today that he doesn't have to pay for the new application, then we don't have to worry about it when he comes in. Otherwise, it comes in after he pays, and we'd have to reimburse him.
So we do need to do that today.
If you could, if you'd be willing to do that, yes.
Can we do that as part of the motion for
Yep.
withdrawal
Motion to
without
accept
prejudice?
the
and
withdrawal
waive the
without
fee of-
prejudice.
Okay.
and-
All right, can I have a
and
motion to approve the withdrawal without prejudice, and also allow Mr. Cabrera to reapply without paying the next fee?
So moved.
Second.
Okay? Can we have roll call, please?
Ken Helinski,
4.
Christian D'Antonio,
4.
Linda DeGray,
for,
Joseph Muley,
4.
Walter Krizel,
4.
Rob Anderson,
4.
and John Petronella is 4.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, the next one is new public hearings, XZA 26-01. You want to read that, John? This is the text amendment, XZA 26, I have 2602 on my copy.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at the regular meeting on Thursday, February 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers at 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following applications. XZA number 26-01, text amendment application modifying various sections of the Enfield zoning regulations per PA 23-142, Town of Enfield applicant.
Okay, so,
Is it 01 or 02? The agenda says 01, the
yeah, our
paperwork says
paper
02.
says,
I'm
handout
sorry,
says
what?
02.
Says 02 online,
Yep.
too.
The application number.
02.
Just want to make sure we're,
Just so we know what we're working on.
he has to fix the motion, or fix, well, he has to make the motion, he's going
It's
to make
actually
it.
01 now.
2602.
Okay,
On this one, yeah,
2602.
here and here.
Okay, got it.
But
Okay, staff, do you want to summarize this for us?
Yes, sure. Georgie did an incredible job of reviewing this and analyzing it, and I'm just going to read her report because it works.
Okay.
This application was prompted by Public Act 23-142. The first changes within the application concern child care operations known as family child care homes and group child care homes. These uses and operations are required to be located in a residence that is licensed by the Office of Early Childhood pursuant to Connecticut general statutes. And it requires the Public Act requires municipal zoning regulations to treat these family and group child care homes the same as any single or multifamily dwelling. It prohibits local zoning regulations from prohibiting the operation of these uses in any residential zone or requiring any special permit exemption to do so. So we do have a special permit at this time, so we are eliminating that with this new wording. The second changes include edits to decision criteria based on character, where the commission shall not deny any land use application on the basis of a district's character per Public Act 23-142. Such changes are included within the list of section modifications as stated below in her memo. I had everything so perfectly set up, and now I've lost it all. There's the bylaws. I don't know what I did with it. So, oh, here we go. I got it. So I think the child and family daycare centers and just modifying that so they're just by right as a single family is pretty obvious. The words character is what the legislature has issues with, so we've changed, just for example, instead of home occupation, home professional office, change character to component. Instead of character, we might say retain its residential style. Characteristics to elements, harmony to compatible. So it's basically just not, it can't be character, it's got to be something more definitive.
Okay,
So that's basically what it is. There's a full list of all of the modifications that was proposed. We did get the positive referral back from CROG, so we're good to go for any action. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
okay. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
And you
Okay,
do have a new motion on your
it's the one on the
your
back?
dais.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay,
one that
can we
came
have
out
the
today. I
motion
realized
then,
that
John?
it wasn't included when we sent the packet out, and I apologize for that.
Oh, yes.
It's all, I'm going to blame it on Georgie.
Does anybody from the public want to comment on this particular item? Does anybody from the public want to comment on this particular item? For a third time, does anyone from the public want to comment on this particular item? Hearing none, can we have the motion, please?
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Yes, that's right. Motion to close public hearing. We have a second?
Yep.
Okay.
That was me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number XZA-26-02, application to modify the regulations regarding group and family child care homes and eliminate any decision criteria based on character in order to meet the requirements of PA 23-142 with the findings as follows. In adopting this regulation, the Commission has considered the Plan of Conservation and Development, the POCD, and finds the amendment to be consistent with the POCD in areas such as Enfield's vision statement on page 26, Chapter 3, Paragraph 2, mentions Enfield is home an inclusive home to families, friends, and businesses that co-creates Enfield as a wonderful place to live, work, and recreate, to remove barriers, to invest for economic development. Chapter 6, page 10. The effective date, published in the newspaper on Saturday, February 14th, 2026. And this amendment shall be in effect on March 2nd, 2026.
Second.
I thought it said May 10th, 2026.
It did, it was an error.
Newspaper, okay.
It was a cut and paste error. My apologies. I had to do this today once I realized it
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
done.
fine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, I was just confused. There's a different date.
It's confused.
Yeah. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Yes, Ken Helinski,
4.
Christian D'Antonio,
4.
Linda DeGray,
Or,
Joseph Muley,
4.
Walter Krizel,
4.
Rob Anderson,
4.
and John Petronella is 4. That's a 7-zip.
The next one is PH 3141, 1604 King Street. Wasn't that tabled? Do we need to take it off the table? I just seem to remember tabling it.
that's,
No,
Oh, that's the, I'm
no,
sorry, that's
this is
the other,
another one.
I'm mixed up.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Gotcha.
this is a new public hearing.
King Street.
I got to read this, and
Yeah, go ahead.
the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at their regular meeting on Thursday, February 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3141, 1604 King Street, application for special permit for excavation activities, 1604 King Street LLC, applicant owner, map 56, lot 33, I-1 zone.
Okay, go ahead, gentlemen.
Good evening, Chair, Commission members. Name is Andrew Quirk, professional engineer and principal with Kratzer Jones and Associates with offices in Southington, Connecticut. And I'm here with the applicant, a member of 1604 King Street LLC, Brian Fairclough, who is also a site contractor and a member of the LLC. You should have the plan sets before you. I also have a flash drive if we want to look at it on the screen. It's really your preference as I go through the presentation, or I think it may be available. Sure, okay. Oops. Okay. So the application before you is for a site that's 26.42 acres. Shown on the survey plan, it's a site in the I-1 zone. North on this plan is up and to the right. The parcel is bordered to the west by the railroad, to the south by I-91, and to the north by St. Patrick's Cemetery, the north and east. King Street is in the far northeast portion of the property. There's an existing drive to the cemetery with an easement for this parcel to also access through that drive, which is in the far northeast portion of the property. The site was recently cleared, and the applicant has since been working with town staff for this earth excavation permit. The purpose of this earth excavation permit is to create a 12.4 acre pad site that will assist in marketing for the property. There are no concrete plans for development and certainly no development plans as part of this application. It's the preparation of the site, and knowing the applicant's background as a site contractor, he has the ability to prepare the site, unlike other applicants maybe before you, that he can handle that in-house and then market the property as a pad site once developed as such. All activities that are proposed as part of this earth excavation permit are more than 30 feet from all property lines per your regulations, as well as 200 feet from the Connecticut River. So an inland wetland permit is not required. We're outside of the 200-foot upland review area for the Connecticut River. The Connecticut River is on the far top left, where the north arrow is on this site plan. All erosion control and sedimentation plans and reports are prepared in accordance with the 2024 Connecticut Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Control, and meet all of that criteria, as well as the stormwater management report and erosion control measures. Generally, the plan for the development of the pad site is to just use the material on site. There's an estimated 2,000 cubic yards of import estimated to achieve that 5% pad site, but it's a regrading of the site rather than, this is not intended to be a quarry with mass export or mass import. It's to develop this 5% pad site for marketing for any future development. The detailed stormwater management report was submitted along with the narrative and design of the sediment basin, which is in this far southerly end of the site. That sediment basin is designed to maintain water quality in accordance with the guidelines, as well as work for detention so as not to have an increase in runoff through the 25-year storm event. We did go through staff comments, then work closely with staff. There were some comments that I'll just touch on. One was an earlier plan showed a separate entrance to the site. That has since been eliminated, so we'll just use the present existing drive that's there for the construction activities. We've outlined an area for where construction trucks will be located during the earthwork activities, and we did submit the detailed stormwater management report as that was discussed. More details are included in the narrative and on the plans, but that's an overview of the proposal that's before you, and at this point, we'd be happy to just answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, staff comments?
Yes, thank you. I agree that the applicants have worked well with staff once I got the cease and desist, but, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to realize what you're supposed to be doing. This is excavation only. There's no structures, no utilities. They have met all of the concerns and addressed them all from the department comments, and there had been some that really did need some addressing. The conditions of approval include a 2-year time frame rather than the standard 5, because that is what is in the regulations. And there are site-specific conditions of number 7, 8, and 9, being hours of operation, excavation, fill, and removal may occur only on weekdays between the hours of 7 and 5. No excavation, fill, or removal may take place on weekends or holidays. Final plan shall include front, rear, and side yard setbacks for the panhandle abutting King Street, and the year on pages S1 and D1 shall be corrected to 2026. And I would like to take note that our assistant planner, Steve Heine, did the majority of this report. I just kind of oversaw it, and he did a great job, so I want to give him credit for that. He wanted to come tonight, but I figured it was too short of a thing for him to come, so he'll be here. So,
Okay.
as far as I could tell, it meets or exceeds all requirements of the regulations.
Okay. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments?
I do.
Go ahead.
I'm just looking at these pictures, and maybe somebody could help me a little bit, because there's a picture here in the upper left-hand corner of the site prior to, and then I'm looking down here on the right-hand corner, and it looks like they've already started excavating the area. And this looks like this nice slope area, and now this is flat.
Right,
So,
thus the cease and desist.
okay, that's what I needed to
A
understand.
lot of work had been completed before they came in for this
All right,
application.
that's what I needed to understand. Thank you.
Go ahead, Rob.
So you said you were getting rid of the proposed entrance and you're just going to stick to using the existing entrance.
Correct.
That entrance is the property of the cemetery, correct?
No, it is. I don't know if you can see the cursor well here, but the property has this tail up here on King Street, and the driveway for the cemetery actually crosses this property, and then goes into the cemetery. So this driveway is on.
So it's like a shared driveway at that point?
Exactly.
It's owned
Yeah.
by us.
With
Okay.
a right for the cemetery to pass over over
Got
the
it.
applicant
So
property.
there is nothing in the land documents that state that they have an easement for access to that. It was just put in. There's only an easement in the town records for a drainage easement on the upper right-hand corner. So technically, if we shut that off, we shut that off. It's not, we're not going to. We're gonna make sure the cemetery has all access. We don't wanna, encumber what they've got going on. We wanna make sure we're good neighbors. But I'm just making sure you guys know that it is our property, it is our drive lane.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Comments? I have a question. So what do you anticipate the property will be used for? Are you going to have businesses in there, or is it going to be like a parking lot for equipment, or just trying to get a feel for it?
It's a great question. We've tossed around a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And we had even thought about combining the applications with a site plan and the earth excavation permit. The applicant did make the mistake of starting on some of these activities, thinking that there was no intended export, that it didn't warrant an earth excavation permit. But this level of activity, of course, does require an earth excavation permit. So at this stage, what we're trying to do is corrective action to have a permit for those activities. So we have not prepared a site plan development. It's presently zoned I-1, so there are industrial uses that are being contemplated. In the area, of course, there's other commercial uses, that's been contemplated. It's also, a beautiful location along the Connecticut River, and residential uses have been contemplated. So at this point, I really can't say anything definitive. We've
Sure.
been exploring all three of those areas, but nothing definitive at this point in time.
Sure, okay. Anyone else? Okay, throw it open to the public. Does anybody in the public want to make any comments? I don't think we're going to have any comment. Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Have any comments. Basically, yeah, so, any comments from the public? Any comments from the public?
Yeah,
Okay.
none of the visitors from the cemetery came. So.
No.
That we know of.
Okay, so, all right, can we read the motion, please? Oh, close the public hearing. I keep
Make a
forgetting.
motion to close public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Close the public hearing. Okay, can we have the motion to approve?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3141, 1604 King Street, application for a special permit for excavation activity, 1604 King Street, LLC, applicant owner, map 56, lot 33, I-1 zone with the conditions, with 28 conditions listed below.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Ken Helinski,
4.
Christian D'Antonio. 4. Linda DeGray,
4.
Joseph Muley,
4.
Walter Krizel,
4.
Rob Anderson,
4.
and John Petronella is 4. 7-zip.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Good luck.
Statutes are changed.
I forgot.
Okay, next on the agenda is SPR 1959. Would you like to read the public hearing? And I guess we'll have to take it off the table at some point.
This one here is, I'm sorry, SPR number 1959, 1695 King Street application for request of long-term storage container, NEL Group LLC, applicant owner, map 14, lot 24, I-1, and KSES DOD zones. This application was previously tabled.
Okay, can I have a motion to take it off the table?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay,
Aye.
we're back on. Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'm
Timothy Snellgrove. I'm the owner of Snellgroves and Nell Group LLC. I was only told that I had to come to this meeting last week by an email. I guess there was a miscount on days, so I wasn't supposed to come until after Valentine's Day, so I'm a bit tired. I apologize. I don't really have much new information for you because I have been focusing on the holiday, as I had previously thought I wasn't going to have to come until after the holiday. So I'm going back to work after this. So.
Oh,
This is our Armageddon, so there's not much I can do right now.
okay,
Do, a quarter of our yearly business in 3 days.
okay. Any staff comments?
So I guess I'll start this off. This was started due to a large container being located on the property. A cease and desist order was issued back on May 28th. An appeal was made to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that was denied on September 22nd, 2025. Subsequently, the container is still there. Citation was issued. In the meantime, there was also a cease and desist issued and a citation for signage on the property, along with cease and desist order issued on December 31st for accessory buildings and junk on the property. I have pictures. I can show you the pictures if you'd like. There are several building issues. The property or the building itself doesn't have a CO at this point in time either. There's a number of open permits for the business and for the structure. The container itself, where it's located, is actually in violation of the regulation itself. It would need to be, it's an industrial one, so there's a 25-foot setback to the north. The site plan that you have, I believe, shows the corner of the container at 35 feet from the building. And if you look at the site plan, the distance from the building itself to the north side property line is only 43 feet. The container itself is 8 feet, so you're down to 3 to 4 feet distance off the property line for the location of the container.
Okay. So I think it's my understanding that we're still in violation.
We are.
We are, okay. So we can't really move forward with this at this point until whatever issues there are resolved. So,
I'm
Mr.
not sure
Snellgrove, do you
what
have
I'm
any
going to
plans
do
to
with-
go ahead and remedy the situation?
I mean, I'd like to remedy the situation, but I don't agree with the situation. That's the problem. So he took a bunch of pictures, and the day before, I believe it was the day before that, we had a tent
Please.
located between the back of the building and.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Tim, could you
Yeah.
speak into the microphone, please?
We had a tent that we used during transferring one holiday out and another one in. We do it behind the store, behind the fencing, so it looks nice, because we have a big corporate building staring down on us too. It's not just King Street. So we don't want to put everything in the backyard and make it look like crap. Anyway, so we have a tent that we put up so we can get stuff in and out from the new storage container. It's temporary. A couple of days before he came over, it had snowed and it collapsed, and of course we wanted to take care of it as fast as possible, but we wanted to wait until the weather wasn't below zero. So, which we did at the first day that was 50 degrees. We took care of the tent and it was gone. And then he took a few extra pictures he went on the further part of the property, underneath the tent that we have on the property, which we haven't had a problem with before. There are foam blocks that I use for my wedding consulting business, and that's why they're under a 10. They're not just junk to me, maybe to somebody else, but not to me. So it's hard to comply with things that he wants me to comply with and still try to maintain my business and the items that I use for my business. It's difficult. Like, he also took a picture of the tables and chairs, which we use for the summer, spring, summer, ice cream season. We don't leave them out front to look like crap. I mean, there's plenty of other businesses in this town that look like crap. So I try to make the property nice, and I put tables and chairs behind this fence that we put up to make it look pleasant. And he's calling that trash on the property. So I don't know. I mean, he doesn't want me to have storage, but then when I have tables and chairs that are not necessarily in a storage container, but in out-of-sight view, I'm now putting junk on the property. So the other thing I will mention too is I found in the laws on about the storage container, we are considered a corner lot. So the lines that he's mentioning are quite a bit different. Because even though Corporate Drive is a private road, it's still an acknowledged road, so we're a corner lot, which would make that side and the front towards King Street both considered frontage, which would be easy to then say that instead of using the back of the building as the back lot, use the side lot, which is recommended here in the special accommodations that are on the website.
Okay,
That way, you know, because my concern is, okay, we start putting stuff further and further back, we're now into an open field, and now all those people, especially the people that go to the 4th floor, which are mostly cardiac patients, because they come to me for ice cream afterwards, which I think is funny, you know, but they're gonna just look out there and see junk in the backyard. That's why we put it where we did. And it's not that, I try to keep it neat, I try to put storage units on it so that we could keep it neat and organized and out of the way, and that's why I'm here. So.
when you say cardiac patients, these are the ones who are in the
Yeah, there's 4
office
floors
building
over
next
there. There's
door?
a bunch of financial insurance
Financial
places.
and
Yeah,
medical
we do-
offices and so on.
We do a lot with them.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we need to figure out a way for you to meet the rules.
That's what I'm trying to do. You know, every time I write an email, I get another sarcastic email back from people in the town hall. So it's just been difficult. You know, and I'm trying to run a business and also take care of my health. I've had 4 neck surgeries since I opened that store here in Enfield. And I've had 4 back surgeries prior to that, and now I have to go for another neck surgery. So I try to kind of do all this stuff with inside all my health perimeters. Since I opened that store, I've lost 320 pounds. I'm a whole different person. So I've had a lot of ups and downs since I've opened it. So I'm just trying to keep it going,
Okay,
you know.
so, I mean, is there a way we can talk about what kinds of mandatory rules that Mr. Smellgrove has to meet?
So unfortunately, statutorily, you either need to deny or approve this application this evening.
Okay,
You could deny it without prejudice, and he could reapply, or you could approve it with conditions, I guess. But tonight is the last time. I mean, this is statutes, this isn't
Okay.
us, it's,
Yeah, that's why they requested
Yeah.
that I come tonight.
yeah, okay. So Linda, you had,
I do have questions because I'm looking back at a letter from your attorney, Mr. Snellgrove, August
Yeah, which I have
6th.
let go, by the way.
And I'm just looking at what I have. I can't comment about what I don't have. And the cease and desist order was back in May 28, 2025, and it had to do with a container. And I have gone over to your store several times, and I saw more than one storage container. I saw like a storage container, and then there was these 3.
Yeah, we have the little plastic ones we
may I
talked about
finish,
the last
sir?
time. Yeah, those have been
There's 3.
like plastic
and then-
Rubbermaid ones.
Then there was something else, and it just seemed like you were just, and
It's
I
called
don't
transition from
understand
one
wh-
holiday to another.
and I let me finish my question. And I
Just
don't
it's-
understand
it's
why you have
frustrating.
not come in and asked for a storage container for 60 days, whatever it is you need it for. You're not giving us any date as to when
I mean, I'm
that
going to need the storage container until I can get the building built, which I have, since I met with you guys, I've already worked with one contractor and a developer, and I'm already fully engaged in getting that started. I need to have, that could be 5 years. I don't know how fast it's going to go through the rest of the process with the town. You know, I can't tell you it's going to break ground tomorrow. I would love to, but
And through the chair to staff, when was this application approved? Wasn't it approved like
5 years is up in
5 years ago.
2026.
And as
Okay,
I said, I've
That's
had,
what I wanted to know. Thank you.
just remember, during that time, I was having 4 different neck surgeries, 3 within 3
Sorry, I
months.
understand you had medical issues.
Correct.
In 5 years, and this is not a standard thing for every applicant.
Right, so
5
that's why I
years,
would have
so-
probably tried to seek to build it sooner, but right now, I'm trying to recover and keep the business going.
And the last time you were here, you said you couldn't find anybody to help you design this or a builder, so I
mean, I went on, I worked with a guy that called me after the meeting, actually.
Oh, that's
came to-
good.
He actually
See?
came to my store and then
That was
called me
good.
afterwards. So,
Good.
yeah, people
very
watch
good.
them.
All right, that's good.
So we got viewers.
All right.
Okay. Any other comments? Yeah, Rob?
What was the original date that he was told to be back?
It was the end of the month. I have it written down.
I don't recall somehow during the meeting at the last time he showed up unexpected. We were not prepared for him to be there because he had no.
There wasn't any
There
response
was
to...
no responses
our
or
office.
conversation prior to it. We didn't expect him to be there. And then he asked for, an extension, which is fine, but I think we just miscalculated that night. But I don't remember what exactly happened.
So
I'd have to go back.
maybe
and-
next meeting maybe our next regular meeting is when he was told to come back, maybe?
I think
was the week
the
after.
implication was that he could come back after Valentine's Day, but then we went back and actually calculated it, and that was wrong.
But even if we did go 1 or 2 more meetings, you're not going to be able to comply with everything, correct?
I don't know what else I need to comply with. That's the problem.
Well, I think they gave you a list.
I don't understand. I mean, I can't move the storage container. It's there until at least spring. The big metal cone storage container has to have an excavator to take it out.
All right, so even if you had been given more time, you couldn't comply anyway.
I mean, the whole idea is I wasn't complying to take it out. I was complying here to you to give me permission to have it.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess it's just like, why would I want to take it out if I'm trying to keep it there so I can use it for storage, so I don't have to pay $5,000 a year down the street for the same storage?
Hey, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, so just to clarify, so in this industrial zone, this long-term storage containers are allowed. So, and just to clarify, we're focused here on this application on the container itself. It's an application for this long-term storage.
Yeah, it was after I had the application, then all these other things kept adding on.
Yeah. So maybe through the chair to staff, just to clarify, any of the separate building concerns in terms of the new construction that's planned outside the scope of this application?
So the original approval included a front porch to be put on the building, some other minor exterior work, and the construction of another building to the rear of the existing building. The front porch is not on. As I said before, there's no certificate of occupancy for the business. He has building permits that have been ongoing since its inception. Those issues have not been corrected in order to get the CO for the existing building that he's operating out of. I believe at the last meeting, he also mentioned the use of 4 floors. As far as I know, and our records indicate, there's only 3 floors there.
And the addition.
Basement, or there's a basement, first floor, and then the second floor.
And the addition.
Well, if there's an addition, then there was no building permit for the
Well, that was done
addition.
in 1989.
So, before, the container was put in place without our knowledge. Normally, as you know, there's a permitting policy and procedure to go about when someone wants to install one, and a container is only temporary. It's not a permanent fixture on a property. It's just for temporary use. It's been there all of 6 or 7 months now. You can see from, the main issue is its location. I mean, that's one of the main issues. When the picture was taken, I mean, there's what I consider junk all around the property. He may not, but I think that the
And you
average,
can see the tent collapse. That was when we were in between taking the stuff in and out. Those are our signs and the sinks that we use for our events, like when we come to do the 4th of July.
those are 2 additional accessory
Yep.
buildings
One's got
on the
tools,
property.
and the other one's got lawnmowers and rakes and stuff in it.
This was the sign violation, just so you understand. That was the original sign. I'm sorry, that's the sign that they applied for. I specifically asked at the time, is it going to be a lit sign? That's the original sign. And the sign that was installed was this sign here that is actually lit, a lit sign, and this was added on top of it. I don't know how high it is. I don't know. 8 feet is the limitation. He's running an extension cord to actually light the signage, which is a building code issue that they're acting on also.
I'd like to answer to that if I could.
And I'll just continue with a
Just
few more
finish.
things, just so we have a clear understanding of everything here. That was the original container, white Costco one. He since painted it. Those are the 2 additional buildings. This is the tent, I guess, that he's talking about that collapsed. It's better if I do this. Those are the tables he's talking about. Those are 2 additional accessory buildings, even if they're right up against the fence. Even if he did get permits for them, they have to be 5 feet off the property line. And that's not the case, they're right on the property line. Just things strewn about the backyard. There's items that are just stored in here. This is probably 3 feet from the fence, which is where the property line is. And again, if you look at that's stuff that was underneath there, just, again, strewn about. If you look at the site plan that he submitted with the application, it doesn't satisfy the regulations in itself. And again, a container is only temporary for certain needs. It's not something that's permanently put onto a site. The original citation, or cease and desist, was a violation of the section that deals with containers, and also a violation of his original approval. Any changes to the site would need approval by you for a modification.
So just to clarify, I mean, I get the point. There's like the sign and potential other violations. If we were to resolve or condition an approval for the storage container, if we were able to come to something today, would you from zoning compliance be able to, would that be allowed in terms of, would like the lack of CO prevent this permit from being applied? Do we know?
That really doesn't, the 2 don't
They don't match.
impact one another.
Okay, they don't impact one another.
No, one of the major things is he's operating without a CO, and really, if to operate the business, he really should address the things that are required under the building permits and get those cleared up so he can actually get a CO for that building before he does anything else. The issue of the container, as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be there. It's not in a proper location. At the ZBA meeting, I actually told him to submit a site plan in as an application, the site plan that they already had. We didn't need a brand-new site plan with everything on it. We just needed a site plan to get before you to come into compliance. The issue at the time was, I didn't know the distance off the property line. We didn't have any information. I don't know how, he's not going to be able to get that off there for a while anyways, no matter what. And that's kind of the the problem, but we didn't create the situation. He created the situation. We just try to rectify it under the zoning regs.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the storage container is concerned, I mean, it's clearly not, doesn't meet the side yard setback, and screening is perhaps questionable.
You do have the letter from the neighbor that's next to me in the other side, who was fine with it. They've
Yeah,
actually
I'm-
started to plant stuff up against it.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is our regulations are our regulations, so they shall comply with the standard side and rear and side yard building setbacks and buffer requirements. Like, we would want you to adhere to that.
I mean, we could
And
move that in the container, we can move it, but it would have to wait until the ground can be moved.
Right, and understandably so.
We're
I
gonna
mean,
have to make another pad, because
No.
there is one thing I do want to address just in the middle of this. He did say that we didn't call ahead of time. We actually did. Robin called and spoke to Georgina about this container. And we were told at that time we were allowed the container because of our zoning. And all of what we were supposed to do, it had to be in the rear of the building, it had to be below, out of sight line, so that's why we put it in the very far corner of the building. So the idea that we didn't try to call it, we had no idea we needed any of these permits, because we were trying to dot our i's and cross our t's, and we get a notice that it's out of compliance.
Yeah, I mean, and as Rick talked about in terms of temporary versus long-term, you are definitely so the temporary part, per our regulations, could be allowed with the site plan, but you're seeking long-term storage, more than 30
I mean,
days.
it's just depending of what you're defining as long and short.
Well, 30 days is what our regulations.
'cause
So
there's
you
not-
want it more than 30 days.
Right. I just
Right.
don't see anything that we found in the bylaws, but I probably missed it.
Yeah, so our long-term is defined as 30 days. I mean, they don't specify an end date.
Because
That's
I mean, the ones
probably
that are in front
something
of
we
Home
can
Depot have been
condition.
there for years.
It's just over 30 days is long-term. So, I mean, that's the way I'm taking this application, is you are applying for a long-term storage.
I would say
container.
yes, because we're gonna, it's gonna take time to build. what
Right,
we
so
need to
if
build.
you're doing that, you have to meet the side yard setbacks and the buffer requirements. It's not shown on the site plan, right? It's a very grainy site plan. But it's clear the actual current state doesn't meet the requirements, right?
I
And
mean,
the site
if they
plan
want it
doesn't-
moved so that there's, an 8-foot gap, just whatever I need to do, I'll do. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, you would either have to remove the storage container and figure out what to do, or comply with the regulations
Right.
and move the storage
I
container.
mean, I'm willing
So,
to
I mean,
comply. I'm not having no
Yeah,
problems with that.
I mean, the only thing I see is the storage container is gonna have to get moved, site plan's gonna have to get updated to reflect that. And you'll have to show that you meet the buffer requirements, which, I mean, you have the fencing there, that may be satisfactory, but it's up to you to prove that to us. But like what you're showing, what we're seeing on the screen now, the site plan's not sufficient. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a chance, I mean, obviously, no immediate action is gonna be possible due to, weather constraints. But as far as a way to try to make it work, could we try to give him an action date of submitting corrected site plan with buffer requirements met and setbacks, and then giving a I don't know, 90-day timeframe to get the site to comply?
I think that's kind of starting to tweak the regulations
okay.
and the statutes, and, I mean, if you want to do that, I suppose you could. I just want, it's,
If I may, I don't think that burden should be placed on us. I just don't feel that that's our responsibility here. I think he needs to withdraw his application, or we put it up to vote and reapply and come back in. That's really the proper way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think this has just been going on too long. I mean, and there's no resolution.
But I think I'm in support of that, and the thing is, we have to make it work. So, I mean, I guess if we're like, let's be very clear about what the applicant can do, what they need to do, that they need to provide to us.
But I think that's been told to him several times, and unfortunately, he's had health issues. I'm not going to, I'm not going to discount that, but this actually started back in May, the cease and desist, and now he's saying, well, I've got to go back to work because it's Valentine's Day and it's a holiday. Well, there wasn't Valentine's Day in May, and there's a lot that's gone on, and this expires, this application it expires in this year, and there's
Today.
not
Does it
anything.
expire today?
Well,
It
right.
expires in a couple days. It's the last meeting until
So-
it expires.
So to say, oh, well, we'll do this, no, that's not on us,
time.
that's
No,
on
that's
him.
fair,
He's not done any of the things that he's been told, and why should we take on that responsibility?
I mean, I think
I understand he's a businessman, I understand what it's like to run a business,
You don't
And-
go through the holidays like we do. You know, you think May.
and you're talking,
Mother's Day.
sir,
Excuse me?
I'm talking, you're not, thank you.
You're welcome.
When I ask you a question, I'll expect your answer, but I'm talking here to
Your
another
point was
commissioner.
made. Continue.
And so why should we take on this when the staff has been telling him on and on and on the exact same things? And it's been going on since May. We only had 2 major holidays, really, well, 3. We had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, and now we have Valentine's Day. We're chocolate people. So from May to November, there was some actions he could have taken. So, no, I don't feel we should be responsible to take and try to tweak this. He can work with staff.
that's fair.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and there's definitely a couple. I mean, as far as I would recommend, like, resubmitting an application for the long-term storage per our regulations. Make sure that those setbacks are met, which is going to mean that you're going to have to move the storage container. I think it would be in. I mean, the tricky part is it's already there. But I mean, you could make an honest effort to get the site plans done as soon as possible, to get them to show, and then, like, to me, that would show that you are committed, and says, hey, like, first thaw, we're going to move this, and storage container is going to go right here where the site plan says it meets your side yard setbacks, it meets the buffer requirements. I mean, I think that would be a show of good faith on your part. I mean, as far as what to do violation-wise, in the meanwhile, I mean, you'd have to work with staff on that. I'm not going to provide any guidance on that. But, I mean, reapplication with a cleaned-up site plan, I would say sooner rather than later. Be clear about what the storage unit is for, how long it's for. I mean, our regulations don't require you to specify an end date, but it might be in your best interest to you know, I think everybody here is kind of interested in hearing, you know, what is your definition of long-term, whether that be 1 year, 5 years.
So we're talking, you know, a whole other application fee and all that, and I'll be still charged all the money until it's all remedied. So, yep, I'm screwed no matter which way I look.
Yeah, I mean,
There's 2 kinds of people in this world, people that solve problems and people that make them.
And you're referring to me making them?
You can be who you want to be.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? I think we ought to.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I just wanted to read, hold on, what's that? Section 3.30.14E, and this is the storage container section. So the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission may allow temporary containers in industrial and business districts in conjunction with the site plan approved, provided that the need for such temporary containers is identified during the review process and the location and timing are specified on the site plan. So that is a critical component, Mr. Snellgrove, that I think that you need to contend with.
What about giving me time to get it off the property. That way we can just end it.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a suggestion for you. You need to get some help from somebody who knows how to deal with this stuff, because.
I tried.
Yeah,
And
I
just
don't think
had
you've
to let
tried
them-
hard enough.
I had
There's
to let
plenty of
them
people
go.
out there, you're digging yourself a hole that we don't want to fill
I'm
in on
saying
you.
I tried to get with the
So
lawyer
that's
to
my
try to do
suggestion.
this,
You can,
but-
there's plenty of people come in here with attorneys that are well-versed in our zoning regulation stuff. You need some help because you have medical issues, you don't have time.
Yeah, it's called money.
You need to get some help. And I think we should end this, and he has to resubmit everything with very detailed guidance from staff to try and help you a
I'm just
little more,
gonna
but
take it
that's
off
what
the
you need to
property.
do.
It's not worth my hassle at this point. I've already spent $8,000 on the attorney on this thing.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public there's nobody here from the public, so but I have to ask. Okay, can you read the motion, please? Oh, wait, that's right, it's an SPR, sorry. Okay. Covered.
I gotta find a motion. Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve SPR number 1959, 1695 King Street, application for request for a long-term storage container. NEL Group LLC, applicant, owner, map 14, lot 24, I-1 and KSESDOD zones.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Yes, Ken Helinski,
Denied without prejudice due to zoning regulation violations.
Christian D'Antonio,
Denied without prejudice, does not meet the side yard setbacks.
Linda DeGray,
Denied without prejudice, again, does not meet zoning regulations.
Joseph Muley,
Against, without prejudice, does not meet our standards.
Walter Crizel,
Denied without prejudice, all of the above.
Rob Anderson,
Denied without prejudice, all the above.
and John Petronella is also against for reasons previously stated. So 0-7, denied.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is new business. Any new business? Okay.
I don't have any new business.
Commissioners' correspondence, we have the final approval of the bylaws. Everybody was sent in their packet. And I think it was just adding the other to the agenda, right? Is that all we did?
Yeah,
That's all I saw anyway, so.
and you should have a final copy. So the bylaws say that you have to make the changes and then approve it at the next meeting.
Yeah,
This
I
is the
think I
next
did.
meeting. It's very efficient.
Yeah, we need a motion to approve the
So I
bylaws.
make a motion to approve the amended, or the final approved bylaws dated, what was the date? Revised February 12th, 2026.
Second?
Second.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
Kenneth Helinski,
4.
Christian D'Antonio.
Four.
Linda DeGray,
Or,
Joseph Muley,
Four?
Walter Crizel.
4.
Rob Anderson,
4.
and John Petronella is 4.
Okay. Unanimous.
7-0.
Director of Planning report.
So, yes, Georgie Driver did actually leave us, and we're going to miss her talent and her personality and her pleasant persona, I guess.
Where did she decide to land?
Well, she ended up taking a job with Goldman in New York instead of NECOG. So there's a good chance that she may be back helping us with our zoning regulations
Yep,
since
yep.
Don
Yeah, that's what
Poland
we were
is with Goldman in New York. So I didn't say goodbye to her. I said, see you later.
Yeah, there you go.
What are you
So-
saying about my persona?
You're awesome.
Okay.
I told her she's not my friend anymore, so she can come back.
So I wanted to remind you that on March 26th, we're going to have, there's the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies lovely banquet seminar. I believe we should be able to get most of you there financially.
Okay.
Donna's going to send, Donna's going to send something out email-wise and sign up through that.
Okay.
Already signed up. She already sent.
I think she already sent
Sherry
something out.
sent it.
Earlier this
Yeah.
week, I think.
She
yeah.
probably has.
She asked if we were allergic to anything and what board we were on, and
Oh, peanuts.
Yeah.
Let's see, so
Okay, I guess you can't go.
one thing I don't think we did, and maybe I dismissed it, we need 2 representatives for Prague Regional Planning Agency. Were we going to stick with John and Chris, or did you want to have
I volunteer
conversation?
again.
Yeah, I'm going to pass that. I'm just.
You're gonna pass.
Don't have quite the time for that.
Chris, you
Thank
want to stay on?
open.
Do you want to be the lead?
Sure.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
And then we do need an alternate.
I nominate Laura. She's new. She needs to learn.
Oh, you don't need to, I think you have to just say that you're interested.
Poor Laura.
That's okay. I'd be happy to be supportive of the team. Yes.
It's not that bad.
No, I know.
We sometimes get bonus trainings.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So,
Hey, get extra.
I love bonus trainings.
oh yeah, bonus trainings.
So they meet on all the Thursday, I think the 3rd Thursday of the month. Is that okay?
It's a quarter.
Thursdays are good for me. I've blocked off Thursdays for all of you. So, of course.
Where do they meet?
So,
It's virtual.
most of the time virtually.
Oh, virtually, okay, so that's
They
not.
used to meet in person, but that was probably pre-COVID that I'm remembering.
Yeah, it's
But I
pre-COVID.
did want to alert you to this, and I will send this out to you email. They are having on March 5th at 7 p.m. as a Zoom meeting, they are having a presentation on Public Act 25-1, an act concerning housing growth from CROG staff. So if anybody wants to attend that, that's the recent housing bill that was passed. It seems that everybody's having sessions on this, and I'm not sure if anything is totally clear yet. So, so I will be sending that out as an email to you.
Okay.
And if you're interested, you just sign up on your own. And I think, I'm not sure if you get credits for that or not. I'll have to double check. It doesn't say that on the sheet. All right, and so then I think that is it for me.
Okay, authorization for administrative approvals. I don't see any on here, so.
No?
Okay, applications to be received.
Okay. So tonight, there's quite a few. PH 3142MA, 242 Brainerd Road, application for a zone change from MFHD to R44, Manorino Builders, Inc., applicant and owner, map 62, lot 319, MFHD zone. PH 3143ZA, application for a text amendment to modify the senior residential development regulation under Section 4.40.4 of the Enfield, Connecticut zoning regulations, Manorino Builders, Inc., applicant. PH 3144, 242 Brainerd Road. Have you heard this before? Application for a site plan special permit modification from large flexible multifamily housing to a senior residential housing development. Manorino Builders, applicant owner, map 62, lot 319, MFHD zone. Which soon will be not that. It'll be the R44. PH 3145, 83 First Avenue. Special permit application to allow excavation activities for the required restoration of Grape Brook. David Stoll, applicant. Amadai Zander, owner. Map 36, lot 313, R33 zone. And actually, David Stoll is actually the representative from DEEP. So he's really not the applicant, but the owner is. And then for the same site, for a flood application number 48, 83 First Avenue, application for a special flood hazard permit for restoration activities of Great Brook, David Stoll, applicant, Omidai Zander, owner, map 36, lot 313, R33 zone.
Okay. Is there any opportunities or unresolved
that's
issues?
David Stoll.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
he's
had
the
something else?
son-in-law.
Oh, David Stoll is the son-in-law, but
Okay.
Omidai Zander signed it as the owner and applicant, so,
Oh, okay.
okay.
All right,
Question.
opportunities,
Okay.
unresolved issues? Anything? Yes, go ahead.
I just have a quick question. I'm trying to remember, because, you know, I'm getting older. Is this the year that they're having the Connecticut land thing, the one-day seminar that's all Zoom from the land use attorneys?
The Connecticut Conference of Municipalities?
Thank you.
That
think
one?
that was
I
last year.
think they've started doing them annually because they're doing it by Zoom.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
So I haven't heard anything
seen
yet.
anything, so that's why I was just asking. All right, other than that, nothing.
I'm
Go ahead, Rob.
not sure.
I'm going to ask something I kind of know the answer to already, but is there anything we can do about the pothole at the mall by Mobile?
It'll eat your tire.
There's people throwing things in it.
I filed or sent them a violation notice quite a while ago regarding the site maintenance,
Lighting and landscaping.
lighting, landscaping, to the present owners. It's between the mobile station and,
It's right next to the mobile station.
It's
the entrance.
I try to avoid that area
So
as
the
much as I
entry-
can.
The entry
Now-
to
Between
the
that and
mobile
Raising Cane, the
station.
entrance there?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
if
wow.
you're going into the mall and the mobile
I
station
saw
is to
them
the
there
right.
yesterday.
It's right
Looks
there.
like they were
Yeah,
fixing it,
it's
but it
big.
was like a rental U-Haul
it's right where the
pickup, and
tires
a couple of guys in it, and they were doing something, shoveling
Oh,
something.
it may have been fixed.
Okay, I'll check it tomorrow, and if it's there, then I'll do what I can.
Thank you.
Which
Okay,
it's questionable as to whether he could do something as to whether anything will be done.
okay. Executive session, none?
Motion to adjourn without prejudice. Prejudice.
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry, Lord.